If at any point you felt like your life lost its meaning when you turned 40, know that Carl Jung would have a completely different perspective. For him, it's precisely at this point that the real journey begins. Until then, we're too busy trying to follow the script imposed on us. Earning degrees, landing a good job, building a family, achieving stability and recognition. All of that is part of the process, but it doesn't define the true meaning of life. It's just a warm-up. Jung believed that the first half of life is for building what he called the ego, the identity shaped by the outside world. The second half is dedicated to the inward journey, the quest for the soul. This process has a name: individuation. It's the moment when a person begins to leave autopilot mode and starts a path of self-awareness. The questions that once guided life go through a deep transformation. The urge to please and live up to expectations shifts into a more profound restlessness. Who am I really? The desire to succeed turns into a deeper search. What is the purpose of my existence? And that's when everything changes. You begin to free yourself from social labels, from imposed obligations, from the masks you wore to be accepted. The most important voice, the one that comes from within, finally gets space to speak. Turning 40 is not the beginning of the end. On the contrary, it's the beginning of a rebirth. It's when the universe seems to whisper, now that you've tried being who they taught you to be, are you ready to discover who you were truly born to be? That's the turning point. Because those who hear this call can never go back to living a half-life. There's a stirring inside, a sense that something needs to change. This is not a crisis. It's a calling. It's the beginning of a profound process. It's the soul calling, the echo of the unconscious, the awakening of everything you suppressed, ignored, or buried throughout your life. Jung called this hidden side the shadow. During youth, we're taught to be strong, flawless, agreeable. We wear social roles that gain us approval but conceal pain, frustrations, desires, and unhealed wounds. At 40, all of this resurfaces with force. And according to Jung, this isn't a failure. It's a necessary step toward real transformation. It's in this meeting with the shadow that a person finally sees themselves clearly. No filters, no illusions, no fear of facing what's always been there. Yes, it might hurt. Yes, it can be frightening. But it's also incredibly liberating. Because only when you face your shadows do you begin to unlock the true power that was hidden within. As Jung himself said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And it's exactly this encounter with your shadow that marks the beginning of a new life. A life that is deeper, more authentic, and truly your own. This is not a crisis. It's an awakening. And this awareness changes everything. For a large part of our lives, we're actors in a social play. We perform roles like the obedient child, the ideal employee, the perfect partner. We were the persona, which Jung described as a mask we need for social interaction, but which alone is never enough. At some point, usually after 40, this mask starts to feel heavy, and then comes a realization. Is this image I show to the world really who I am? That's when one of the most powerful journeys a human being can take begins. The transition from ego to self, from surface to depth, from appearance to essence, from persona to soul. Jung taught that the self represents our deepest, most complete, most authentic self. It is the part of us that has always existed, even when we were conditioned to be something else. And the most curious thing is that this inner reunion usually doesn't happen before age 40, because before then, we're still too busy building the image the world wants to see. But after that, something changes. You begin to hear what your soul has been trying to say all along. You start living with purpose, not just out of obligation. Your decisions come from awareness, not from fear. As Jung put it, the second half of life is not about climbing higher. It's about diving deeper. At 40, life is not asking you to conquer the outer world. It's inviting you to conquer the universe within yourself. And that kind of victory, the one where you meet your true self, is something no one can ever take away from you. This is the real rebirth, the beginning of a new existence. And those who accept this calling never return to living on the surface. If this message resonated with you, give us a like and subscribe to the channel to keep receiving content that feeds the soul. We'll see you in the next video. with gratitude, always